Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. If you've been keeping up with either the update videos or just what's been going on in Warzone and Modern Warfare for content, I'm sure you know all about these secret weapons that we have in the game right now. And we're not talking the secret variants you can make like the RPD or the M16 or the MP5K. We're talking about these secret, unreleased DLC weapons that we initially thought would be for Season 7 back prior to Cold War releasing. And we've had these in Modern Warfare for quite some time, but now they have officially bled into Warzone, and it seems like we're finally going to see these hidden weapons release at some point here in the near future. So as we go through it all, if you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. Let's shoot for 3,500 likes on this video, and of course, if you're new here or if you haven't already subscribed, I am always covering the latest news, intel, updates, tips, and pretty much everything else going on in COD, so feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. Now, just to preface everything here real quick, this whole discussion today starts back in Season 6, back last year actually. Towards like, I want to say the midway point of Season 6, we saw a handful of weapons leak like we usually do whenever a season is getting closer to ending. And in total here, we had 3 weapons surface, an SMG, a pistol, and then also an LMG, so naturally, we all sort of assumed that Season 7 would come, and those would be the 3 ranged weapons for the season. Since every season prior featured 3 ranged weapons, that all added up, so that's what we were all expecting. But then Season 7 just never happened. We got to the launch of Cold War. We didn't have the Cold War integration in Warzone yet, so then we assumed, well, hey, we're waiting on the big Cold War update. That's still like a month out from now. That means we're probably going to end up getting them here soon to hold us over until then. And then that never happened. So then we thought that maybe with Season 1 we'd get them since the season was like 2 months long, actually a bit longer than that, but then still nothing ever happened. However, during that time when we were just waiting and waiting and waiting for these new weapons to drop, a few peculiar things happened in game. We ended up seeing the CX-9 and the Sykov appear in the Modern Warfare combat records, proving that even more, they would be headed to the game at some point soon. Ultimately, they were removed from the combat records, but they were out for like, I want to say 40, 50 plus days where every player who wanted to look at those weapons could see them. They were completely visible to anyone who owns Modern Warfare. You could go and you could see those in game. Then the weapons became available in the survival mode, and you guys have been seeing footage of the CX-9 and the Sykov in the background from that, because even though the weapons weren't public on the menu and you obviously couldn't level them up or unlock them naturally, you could still actually get them unlocked in a way by doing the challenges that weren't actually visible. Basically, if you used pistols, if you used SMGs enough, you would probably just end up unlocking them naturally through playtime. That's exactly what happened to me. Unfortunately, you couldn't get the RAAL. I believe that tracking challenge was completely bugged, but you could actually end up using the Sykov and the CX-9 in survival mode if you ended up unlocking them. So through that, you could see how the weapon's gonna behave, how the recoil works, how the damage felt, so on and so forth. So all that considered, we've been here just waiting and wondering if these weapons would ever release. Not to mention there's also Soap and Shane Sparks and the multiplayer maps, all content that is referenced in the game that we haven't heard anything about from Infinity Ward or Call of Duty. They have, kid you not, been radio silent about all of this content, which pretty much just leads to even more confusion about the entire Season 7 content that is just MIA. But then, Season 2 happened this past week. Now things are beginning to look up for the Modern Warfare content side of things, at least when it comes to the weapons and potentially the return of Soap here in Warzone, which we'll get to here in just a moment. Now, as we know, in Warzone, the ground loot is now changed for Season 2, and as always, whenever a new season drops, we get new ground loot to use, we get new chest loot to find. You can actually now find the CX-9 and the RAAL LMG, and I believe the Sykov. Personally, I've only found the RAAL and the CX-9 so far, but I do think the Sykov is out there in the wild as well. And so before, you could only use these in survival. I guess you also had a chance of getting them out of the weapons drop field upgrade in Plunder too, but that didn't really mean too much. Now though, everyone who plays is probably going to come across these weapons kind of frequently because they spawn out of chests pretty easily. And the RAAL variant is going to be the Rook, that's the whole name of this variant, and it comes with like this really interesting distance tracking sight. Basically, when you look down sight in ADS, you can actually see how far away that center red dot is locking, so if a player is 200 meters out and you're staring at them, you'll know that they're exactly 207 meters away from you. Or if you're looking at a wall, you'll be able to see it's exactly 71 meters away from you. Honestly, a pretty cool sight. If this was on something like snipers, it would be incredibly useful. Then I believe this also has a suppressor, a 100 round mag, a barrel, and then maybe a 5th attachment. It's kind of hard to tell, but it is actually kind of a beast. It's got a slower fire rate, but this thing hits like a truck when it comes down to it. Then we also have the CX9, which is the Syrah variant. Not entirely sure how to pronounce this one. The Syrah. Do you smell what the Syrah is cooking? I'm sorry, I had to do it. I can't help myself sometimes. But this one seems to come with a suppressor that is actually integrated into the barrels, so it's kind of like the deadfall barrel on the Fennec, I believe, and then also on the ISO. So it's suppressed and it actually replaces that muzzle spot. This also has the monocle reticle, I think it's called, a 50-round drum with some 9mm parabellum ammo, the commando foregrip, and then maybe a 5th attachment as well. Again, it's kind of hard to tell what exactly is being used if it's not visually obvious like a commando foregrip would be or like a drum mag would be. But yeah, two honestly pretty good variants. Then we also have the Sykov as well, which like I said earlier, haven't found yet, but I'm pretty sure it's out there. Now, what's extra interesting about the Syrah in specific, which I want to focus on here real quickly, is that this is actually the same CX9 variant that is set to debut in the SOAP operator bundle. Now, for what it's worth, this is just a leak via COD Tracker. The bundles do oftentimes appear in the game early, and COD Tracker usually posts about them. They're not always 100% accurate, but every season in the past, there's been a common trend for variants that we can find on the ground and or in chests. And usually there's a lot of store bundle variants that are accessible as ground and chest loot. Like for instance, there's that one like pink and orange Tundra variant that we had as chest loot, I want to say, from last season. And that was available day one in Warzone ever since season 1 launched. But the bundle for it didn't come out until the season was like half over last season, but it was available beforehand, and that's what's really important to note. Meaning that if these weapons are available now as variants in game, especially the CX9 because we know it's a part of the SOAP bundle or leaked to be a part of the SOAP bundle, going off of history and what we've had happen before, that would mean these weapons should finally release here in season 2. Of course though, the question then is, well, when? And that's an answer we definitely don't have as of right now, but we can still certainly speculate and theorize a bit. And seeing as these weapons are Modern Warfare based and not Cold War based, that does make things a bit tricky because obviously all the seasonal content right now is based around Cold War and Warzone and not Modern Warfare anymore. But as we've talked about before, Season 2 encompasses the 1-year mark for Warzone launching, that of course being March 10th, and it just so happens we've got an update day happening on March 11th. That's actually when the Outbreak event comes to a close. And so right now the theory going around is that instead of getting a new map or anything like that for the 1-year mark, since that just doesn't really seem super likely, as we sort of talked about in the nuke event video, instead, we could be getting some special content updates on March 11th, featuring the CX9 and the RAAL and the Sykov since Warzone debuted during Modern Warfare. Again, it is just a theory, but as far as the timetable goes, that's currently the best guess that we have as of right now. So yeah, there you have it. With all of that being said, that is effectively everything we currently know about the Modern Warfare update, the Modern Warfare Weapons update, I should say, for Call of Duty Warzone. And that's going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here and you want to stay up to date with the latest Call of Duty news, intel, updates, leaks, everything like that, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WHosImmortal for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, and Control Freak products. The links for those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.